Good afternoon and welcome to the MassRobotics Form and Function Robotics Challenge information session. We're happy to have you all online and wish you luck in your applications. So the Form and Function Robotics Challenge is something that we ran last year, and we were happy to have applications from all over the world and the ability to showcase that to the Boston community and people who came to the Robotics Summit here in Boston. So MassRobotics is the largest independent innovation hub to accelerate the development and adoption of robotics technologies. So we're all about accelerating, growing startups, and kind of helping them scale to become successful companies. So I have with us here today Russell, who is going to talk about the challenge, and take it away, Russell.
Thanks, everybody. So I'm Russell. I'm the partnerships and engagement liaison kind of touch point to kind of help out with you interacting with some of the partners. This competition is unique in that we deliberately made this rather broad. So whatever projects you're working on already or you are going to be working on in your school year, it might be a capstone, it might be a passion project or something you might have been working on at university maybe for a year or two already. Those are all fine to work on as long as they're robotics related or adjacent. So the amazing thing about this is you get to kind of meet and interact with some of our partners, and they provide solutions and products to you to kind of help your project. So at least two of these technologies has to be used, at least two separate partners, and we'll kind of go over those briefly. But I want to also emphasize that with the interaction with the partners, you are going to be working with them directly. So it's very much encouraged if you need to work with a partner, you are directly contacting the point of contact which you'll be connected with if you get through to that phase. So also broadly the challenge. So we have a grand prize of $10,000 this year, and also prizes for second for $1,000 and third place for $1,000. And we also have an audience choice award. Now that said, I mean, if the say you get first and the audience loves you, you have 1,000, 10,000, and plus 1,000, or you could get second place and audience choice award for 2,000. So that can be a unique scenario that might happen, but we encourage you to try your best for these things. So again, your projects should have a function and a form and a reason why they work, and they should look pretty good. So you should add a little bit of polish, understanding that they're prototypes and they're going to be a little rough around edges, but just try to make it presentable. As the idea of this challenge is will be at if you go through to the phase, you get to show your project off at the Robotics Summit in May. So and that's in Boston, and that's a very awesome way to kind of interact with industry, even outside the partners. A lot of industry comes by and kind of really loves to see use cases and maybe like bring resumes or a pitch to them. So, Joyce, can you take some of these?
Just describing that.
Yeah, let me grab some water real quick. Sorry.
So again, we're asking that you use two or more of these, and I think the more you use, the better off. So AMD, they're offering their Crea 260 robotic starter kit. It's an FPGA on a little development board. Analog Devices is offering IMUs or time of flight sensors. Danfoss is offering controllers. Festo is offering pneumatic kits. Lattice has a combination board with NVIDIA. Mitsubishi is offering PLC controllers and their MQTT module. Novanta is also offering motors, inductive encoders, and servo drivers. We would love if you would design in SOLIDWORKS, and they're offering their licenses to those who want to use that. And there's a variety of components from Igus. So the startups or the teams that are chosen for this challenge will have a mandatory meeting they have to go to, and each of these companies will describe in more detail the components that they're offering.
Yep. So yep. So that on that meeting is more time to basically they'll it's sort of a reverse pitch. So these partners will be talking very briefly about what they're offering, and then you will get the contact to them during that meeting. Again, this is all if you get through to that stage. Right now, we're just accepting applications, and we're looking for unique solutions for this. So again, it's a great way to kind of network, get to know some cool companies, get to know some really cutting edge technologies, utilizing them, working with them in different ways, combining them with other technologies. So it's a great learning experience and a way to kind of expand your network and get connected with the field if you're interested. So in terms of timeline, so right now, so applications have been open for quite a while. We have the info session that is today that you are here and at, and then applications close on February 12th. So you can feel free to submit them. We have a link on our website. Excuse me. I think we'll post it in the chat as well at some point at the end of this if you can't find it, but it should be pretty easy to find. And then we will announce the selected teams on February 15th and let everybody know. Typically, we also give a heads up to our partners too. Within the applications, definitely try to make sure just to select, there's a question about what technologies you might be interested in using. It's very broad. It doesn't have to be exact, but getting an idea of what technologies you're interested in. You're not going to hurt anybody's feelings, just so that we can convey that to the companies a little bit beforehand so they know how many like for example units they can loan out. I think a few of our partners, for example, only have a certain amount of units to either loan or provide, so of certain products, so they just want to be cognizant of that. So and then after that, there's the mandatory info session that we're talking about. That's like the one day you definitely gotta be here. For those who can physically be, so we're gonna have that at MassRobotics here. If you can physically be here, we really encourage that. If you can't, if you end up being across the world or across the states, you can attend online, and it's going to be a very good kind of interaction. It's a touch point, and we will also provide you with the contacts to the partners so you can reach out as needed. From that point on, I mean, even right now, technically, you could be working on a project, sans the partners items, but you have then until essentially April 30th. Everybody kind of works on their projects right up until the last second anyway. To submit your what you're working on, which essentially is just let us know. Periodically, we might send emails just to say, hey, how is it going? Do you have any issues? Are you okay contacting partners? Are they responding? Sometimes partners will say, hey, we didn't hear back as well, and we'll just give periodic check-ins. Nothing too aggressive. We're not going to be bothering you too much. We want to make sure that you have time and you're working on your projects. So, and then at the May 1st and 2nd, that the winners will be announced, and you'll be invited to come to the Robotics Summit. Travel is not paid for. However, you will have a space allocated in that space to show off your technology and project. So I think last year we held it, and people really thought it was beneficial just to hear from different people in the industry, hear comments, feedback, get connections, learn about new things as well. So the show itself, you'll have probably a little time to walk around and see some cool robot technologies. And again, grow your network, get people to know what you're doing. You learn about other people. That's really what we like to do at MassRobotics to make sure that the robotics industry keeps growing and people get the help they need, whatever it might be, technical or whatnot. So yeah, here's kind of a picture of of the last year's kind of group. So oh yeah, that's right. I have to order the
Trophies.
The trophies, yeah. Gotta remember one of those. So yeah, yeah. So I don't know if there's anything else, Joyce, you'd like to add, but I'm probably gonna open up for questions.
Yep, let's do that.
I think, yeah.
I will look in the chat also. So if you have a question and you want to put it in the chat because you don't want to ask, or you can unmute yourself and just ask the question. So one thing, we do offer the top, how many teams did we say?
So we're looking probably to get around 10 teams. That isn't a hard number. Sometimes if it's like, 11 or 12 teams that are very promising, we'll probably make allocation for that. But yeah, so we're looking for around 10 teams to enter, and you can be from anywhere to enter, work on any type of project.
So last year we had
Yep.
a team from Korea come. Do you help pay for them to get here?
So no, no. So we don't have any travel stipends, unfortunately. However, I think they worked for the with their university to kind of get kind of funded for that.
And we do offer free tickets to the show. So you'll have a
Oh
space
yeah.
on the floor and
So
go to the show.
yeah, yeah. The show itself, it's free admittance to the show, and again, there would be a space for you. So really, the only coverage that you need is like travel accommodations, and that type of thing.
Can interested people submit or pitch more than one idea?
Yes, actually, yep. That's all right. I would say that it might be a little tricky because let's see.
It's going to be competitive.
It
So there are a
Yeah.
lot of schools that enter. So I would suggest you enter your top, what you think the top form and function robot will be, but then you can always
Yeah, I
do a
mean,
second.
I think focusing too on um uh what kind of, how do I say this, uh what are your interests? What aligns best to what maybe you see that the partners are kind of offering right now, if that makes sense. And just saying going with your best gut is good. But yeah, you can submit, should be able to submit as many entries as you want. So yeah. I know, just also, so for some reference, like the last year's winner, like the top prize winner was, I believe, Tufts, and they had a digestive a pill, like a robotic pill that you would swallow, and then it would take samples as it passed through your body through two samples, I believe, to kind of diagnose, to be used in kind of prognoses. After it's passed. So it was interesting, and people really like that. Um, some other interesting things were kind of utilizing processing of what was it, smoothies.
That was
So
good.
some fun activities.
And there was the one from WPI that was a little robot on two wheels. He used the ADIIMU.
Oh, yep, yep. So there's some wheel packages. Also, it's the other thing too is like necessarily in this specific case, it doesn't have to be like a super. I mean, I'll tell you, it helps your cause a little bit, but it doesn't have to be a super viable business case. But because this isn't like a startup competition, there's a student competition. But utilizing technology in unique ways, that's gonna be very interesting. So there's another question here. Can partners provide documentation info about their donated hardware in advance to help shape entry ideas? So I can ask.
They are listed, and I'm sure the
Yeah,
documentation is public. If you look up, the AMD one, the Korea, uh, there's documentation online about that.
yeah. So just let me see. Going back to our partners here. So yeah. So for partner technology, so the AMD's has the Korea kits, so the KR260. So if you Google that, you can get some info about that. Analog Devices is working with a IMU and time of flight sensor. these IMUs, I can get specific info about them, but they're, I think,
Share
similar
online.
used on to First Robotics. So it's a your standard IMU. Danfoss has controllers. They're mostly for larger projects, for like kind of. I think they even use it for like construction equipment. Although it would be interesting to scale it down to pare it down to like a smaller platform. Festo has specialized in pneumatics, so tubing and excuse me, connectors. I think they might. So someone like Festo, for example, and a lot of these partners, they're going to provide some stuff, but they're often open to say, hey, we have other stuff, and then you can ask. For example, I know Festo has like linear actuators. So if you say, hey, I saw you have some linear actuators, could I try them? And you feel free to ask, and they might actually provide it if they have them in stock or available to provide. So this is kind of just a here's your first idea, go for it. If there's some other things to ask for, it doesn't hurt to ask. They're not gonna be mad or anything. um, so yeah, uh, like for example, like Igus, they have a very large catalog of like bushings and bearings and wire like management devices. So you know, like I think it would be very fine to just say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, and can you help me find a product as well? So yeah, definitely don't think this is very rigid uh, a very rigid, kind of constrained competition. So Novanta and yeah. So yeah, again, those companies have a number
Read
of
the
things.
question.
Yep.
Read the question before you
Oh yeah, sorry. So for instance, yeah. So no, Novanta, Mitsubishi list in generic categories. Yeah, exactly. So this is again echoing, they have they're purposely similar to the projects here. It can be broad and generic, but we can uh, allocate for we can help connect in different ways. And they're happy to say, oh, I'd like to check that out and see if I can get that for you.
So another question is, can multiple teams from the same university apply?
Yes. So yes. So we actually,
We had a couple.
yeah, last year I think Tufts University. Yeah. So actually Tufts had multiple two teams that were actually accepted and entered. So yep, feel free. That's encouraged. We especially like to advocate to universities to say, hey, if you have different departments, if you have a mechanical, electrical department, if you're doing capstones, there's obviously multiple teams doing different projects. They can all enter as separate kind of teams. So that's fine. Any other questions, comments? Give it a minute or so. Just people are thinking, pondering.
I'm going to go back to the link. Here we go.
Any more guidelines beyond form and function? Yeah. So yep. Again, we deliberately made it very broad and on purpose vague, so that a lot of different projects can be entered here. So if you're doing something that's robotics, it's probably fine to enter and it's viable, because I personally, I in the past have seen a number of competitions that are very they're it's good to have a focus. They're like, okay, underwater robots or something, or drones, and it's like we have to make a drone or something specific, which is fine. But I feel like there's a lot of technologies and automation and robotics projects that kind of fall through the cracks. They don't get noticed, or like there isn't really a place for them. So we kind of want to say, hey, let's open it up more broadly and allow that type of kind of creativity and ingenuity to shine. So yeah. I think other things. Can you share a bit more about the intellectual property? Oh yeah, aspect as well, especially since we use sponsors. Yes. So so no. So you keep all your IP. Anything that's generated is kept by you. Um, the sponsors and partners technologies they might have, depending on what device or thing that you're asking for, they might have a separate NDA that they might request you to sign. You can like make that call if you want or not. I think generally they try to give stuff that's like pretty that doesn't need that. Excuse me, that doesn't need that. And that negotiation is like we get out of the way of that, and you can kind of figure that out with the partners. But anything that's created, it's still yours. We don't retain any of that, and we don't claim any of the IP. So yep. Yes. So how are the ideas and projects evaluated? Yes. So we have a panel of kind of semi-secret judges. Usually people can suss them out because they're asking more questions than most people. But so we try to get some industry leaders for the judges, just to be to be unbiased. We don't ask the partners that are contributing to be judges or anybody from the organizations. We ask some other industry leaders and things like that. I think last year we might have got somebody from like I think MITRE and P&G, so some respectable people, and the criteria not this year because they're partners. So the criteria is typically we might modify it a bit this year, but I think it's based on like reliability slash like durability. Like, is it functioning right? It's a called form and function. So is it working, and is it like seem robust? The form. So does it actually, again, is it look polished? Is it how close to, even if it's a prototype, how close does it look to a final product, or how far is it along? And then there's kind of the team dynamic, the presentation, just like the interaction to questions and technical expertise. A big one is the utilization of the partner technologies. So how they're utilized. I usually I usually make the joke and say like, okay, well, if you like got a free board from like AMD and you just duct taped it on top and it's like clearly not on, like that's probably not the best utilization of that very clearly. So yeah. Um, Also so the lists, if I remember, it's like originality. So if it's something that's like done a bunch over and over, if it's something new and dynamic nowadays, like there seems to be robust for anything, so I wouldn't highly do that one. The impact, so if it's solving a problem, uh is it solving a problem that's like, let's see, how cooked is this egg, or is it solving a problem like where's climate change or something? Um, um, yep. Does it inspire? It, does it impress you? Uh,
I think one
yeah,
of the biggest things is overall execution.
yeah. Overall execution. I mean, see, all these things are taken into account um, in the judges scoring. Uh, but I would say the top. I mean, everything. There's a sway to everything in terms of like judges, like opinions and their perspective in the industry and stuff. I would say the overall execution, the use of the partner technologies. So if you really highlight that you're using multiple of the partners technologies, and then you show that it's functioning and relatively durable, you're got a good chance of impressing the judges.
And
So
these criteria are all listed on the website, so
yep,
you can look down. It's under the MassRobotics, www.massrobotics.org, which is the main website. If you go to challenges under opportunities, you'll see this challenge,
yeah,
and it's got a landing page. It has all of the
yeah.
criteria listed.
If you found this if you found this webinar, then it's that page. So where you found the link. So upon completion, what next for the winning team and other promising teams? Yeah, so the winning team, we then will figure out the payment, like check, like who to send the check to, which is something maybe it might be worth kind of chatting about. Uh, because a lot of times, sometimes it's like, okay, do we have to cash this through school or through the student or things like that. Um, or how it's split amongst the team members if there's like a larger team or something. And then we typically do so there's like a kind of award ceremony that we just announce the winner. And then afterward I think we do like what, a tweet. We usually
Yeah, we do some
do some social
promotional things,
media
right?
promotion, and then we encourage to keep working on projects, and I think again the it seems kind of for a lot of students is the connections you really get from the industry, the connections you make to that you meet at the show and throughout, and working with the partners. You say, oh wow, I know somebody now at AMD, and I can like ping them if I'm looking for a board, or like if you go to start a job, you say like, oh well, I know how to use this hardware or software, and I know somebody that can help me out with that. So it's a good valuable kind of networking thing. I know a lot of people are in the technical and academic field. You say networking, like, oh, was it free pizza? Like, what? Why am I here? But no, it's more than that. Getting that connection, I think, is very valuable. And then, I mean, ultimately, we would love to see the companies, the winner, like that made something, become a startup someday, and then come to MassRobotics and build their technology. But there's no obligation to that. Um, there's no kind of prodding to that. But that would be great if that would happen. So, yeah. Great questions, by the way.
Mhm.
Trying to think other any other things that we want to cover.
The mandatory session applications are
Yep.
due.
Over
What
that. Yep.
when you inform them?
Yep. So I'll go
Go
back
back to
over
the
here.
timeline.
Yep. Yep. So to reiterate, so again, so you have until February 12th to submit applications, uh, and then we'll let you know if you got accepted. Then there's a super mandatory, like you got to be there February 21st. There's only one thing out of the whole program. I mean, we try to make it very simple. There's only one thing you really got to be at, and that's that info session, because it's like a way to uh, really meet the partners and get to know them, and also just get the contact of the partner. So even if like so the presentations during that info session are gonna be very quick, like very quick, like under like 5 minutes. But they're gonna include the contact information for the partners, and there'll be a little bit of time at the end for some more direct questions for the partners, or inquiries. But that's going to be, and like I said, if you can be here in person, that's great, because they'll be here, and we'll you could chat with them directly and ask them about um, some items. So there's that. And then it's a short working time, but we try to coincide it with like capstone projects and things of that nature. Cool. So I think that if there's any last questions, I think we kind of hit a lot of what this is about. We try to make this a simple competition. We like, there's enough like really complicated competitions that have like very like so many restrictions and stuff, and we try to make this comfortable and like to fit projects that might not fit into other competitions. So yeah, and we love to have also diversity in our candidates from all over the globe, and the United States and everywhere, Europe, Africa, Asia, everywhere. So it's a privilege to kind of see projects from around the world. Um, and also the other kind of funny thing is you meet the other teams there, so you can kind of network for people that are in the competition as well. So it's a great. I think all in all, it's a really great opportunity. It's great too to get, if you can, your school to come behind you too. I know it's like, and if you get in, it's like, okay, well, plane ticket and a hotel to the show, but it's a great opportunity to honor, and it's from what we've heard from last year, people were like, this was so impactful and amazing. So if you get in, it's something really to look forward to. Okay, I'll give it like 10 more seconds. Anything else, Joyce, you want to add?
Nope, I think we got it all.
All right, cool. And this will be so this was recorded, so we'll like kind of post it up so we can reference it. So if you have students or your professor on here that you want to forward it over, this is a good reference point. It's easy to kind of just refer back to. So, and then the email like that's right there. You can email us and let us know if you have any questions. Do I have a cool shirt? Actually, I did order a cool jacket, a new one. Secretly,
For the
yeah. It's
competition.
supposed to be a surprise though. I don't know how cool it's gonna be.
I have a cool T-shirt for you.
No, like the crazy jacket I had.
No,
I might wear the same one. Who knows? Kindly share info on the prize wall. Is there any restriction on the prizes? So I don't think so. No. So obviously you can't win first, second, and third. You can have the audience choice is one of those ones that's kind of like a bonus. So first, second, and third place could be one also audience choice. Either like so, and there's one of each prize. So yeah, yeah. I don't know if there would be any restrictions, right?
No,
No.
we can make a check out to anyone who fills out a W-9.
Yep. Yep. All right. Okay, so again, if you have any more questions, feel free to shoot us an email and let us know. And let other people know at schools too. Like let your friends know if you have friends from anywhere or in your classes or anything. If they have cool projects, send them over. And tell them to check it out. Cool. All right. Well, have a good evening, guys. Thanks for hanging by and enjoy.